Today, I want to ask you a simple question. A question that has the power to shake your doubts, challenge your limits, and ignite a fire within your soul. That question is, why not you? Think about it. Why not you to achieve greatness? Why not you to break the cycle? Why not you to build a new future, not just for yourself, but for everyone who comes after you? We live in a world where many people are waiting for someone else to change their lives, waiting for permission, waiting for the right time, waiting until they feel ready. But what if I told you the only permission you need is your own belief? The only green light you're ever going to get might just be the one you give yourself. You've been through storms, haven't you? You've faced rejection, failure, heartbreak, loss. Maybe you've had dreams shattered, opportunities missed, chances wasted. But you're still here, still breathing, still standing. And that means your story is not over. Some people look at successful individuals and think they must have had it easier. They must have had connections or luck or talent I don't have. But the truth is, most of them started just like you. Unsure, afraid, unprepared. But they dared to believe. They dared to try. And they dared to fail forward. The world doesn't reward potential. It rewards action. It rewards courage. It rewards those who say, why not me? And then get to work. Look in the mirror. That person staring back at you has everything it takes. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be persistent. Let me tell you something that might challenge you. You are someone's miracle in the making. Someone is waiting for your courage to rise. Someone is watching how you fight your battles, how you carry your scars, how you choose not to give up when everything says you should. You don't have to have it all figured out. No one starts with a map, but every step you take gives you more clarity, more confidence, more direction. The first step is the hardest, but it's also the most important. Maybe you've told yourself stories like, I'm not smart enough. I'm too old. I'm too young. I don't have time. I don't have support. And maybe those stories feel true, but they are just stories. And stories can be rewritten. Rewrite your story starting today. You are not here by accident. You have purpose in your breath, strength in your struggle, and power in your potential. The question is, will you rise to it? Imagine what your life could look like if you decided right now that you were enough. Not tomorrow, not 10 pounds from now, not after you get the degree or the job or the applause, but now, as you are. People often wait for motivation to show up like lightning from the sky. But let me tell you something. Motivation is not a spark. It's a decision. It's the quiet commitment you make when no one is watching. It's what happens when you choose discipline over distraction, courage over comfort, and progress over perfection. You don't need to take a giant leap. You just need to take the next small, brave step, and then the next. And then the next. Why not you to lead, to inspire, to create something meaningful? Why not you to forgive, to heal, to let go of what's been weighing you down? Why not you to start again, to rise stronger, to be the example others need? Don't wait until you feel confident. Confidence is not a prerequisite. It's a result. It comes from showing up, from doing the hard things, from proving to yourself that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. Yes, it's going to be tough. Yes, you'll be tested. But pressure is what creates diamonds. And you, my friend, were not made to live small. You were made to shine. Every person in this room has a gift, something only you can bring to the world. A voice, a vision, a passion. Don't die with it still inside you. Don't let fear bury your brilliance. When doubt creeps in, and it will, ask yourself, why not me? Why not someone who's failed before? Why not someone who's afraid but willing? Why not someone who's ready to grow, to evolve, to rise? Let the world say what it will. Let the critics whisper, let the fear linger. But don't let any of it stop you. Your dream is valid. Your effort is enough. Your time is now. So stand tall, speak boldly, show up even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Because in the end, it's not the most talented who rise, it's the most determined. The ones who fall and fall again, but get back up and keep going. Be that person. Be the reason your family sees hope. Be the one who says, it ends with me. The fear ends with me. The playing small ends with, if greatness is possible, and it is, then ask yourself, one last time. It's one of the most powerful truths you can ever embrace. Yet, most people live their lives as if they're waiting for someone to tap them on the shoulder and say, now you're ready. Waiting for approval from family, society, a boss, a mentor, or even a stranger. They hold back their potential, silence their voice, and shrink their dreams. Not because they aren't capable, but because they believe they need permission to rise. From an early age, many of us are conditioned to seek validation. We learn to ask for permission before we speak, before we act, before we take initiative. And while some of that has its place in childhood, the danger is that it seeps into adulthood. People grow older in body, but inside, they still wait for someone to give them the green light. But life isn't school. There is no principal in the office handing out hall passes. No counselor assigning your next step. No authority figure holding the keys to your future. The truth is, the door has been unlocked the whole time. You just have to walk through it. You were born with something unique inside you. Ideas, talents, passions, a perspective no one else has. That isn't random. That's purpose. And purpose doesn't require permission. If you feel a calling inside, if something keeps pulling at your heart, that's not something to ignore. That's something to honor. It's a sign you are meant for more than just blending in. But too often, people mute their purpose because they're afraid of stepping outside of the lines that others have drawn for them. Maybe someone told you that's not realistic, or you're not the type of person who does things like that. Maybe you were told to stay in your lane, to be practical, to not dream too big, and maybe you believed them. But here's the reality. Those limits were never yours. They were borrowed beliefs passed down by people too afraid to chase their own calling. If you've been living your life inside a box built by other people's opinions, it's time to break it apart. You don't need a title to lead. You don't need applause to start. You don't need a certificate to create change. You have a voice, and that voice is enough. You have a dream, and that dream is valid. You have a fire inside you, and that fire can light the way, not just for you, but for everyone watching you rise. The most successful, fulfilled people in the world are not always the most qualified. They are the ones who stopped asking, can I, and started saying, I will. They didn't wait to feel worthy. They acted. And through that action, they discovered their worth. They didn't wait to be told they were ready. They made themselves ready by showing up again and again, even when it was hard, even when it was messy. Too often, people confuse humility with hesitation. But hiding your gift isn't humble, it's harmful. Someone needs what you carry. Someone's breakthrough is waiting on your boldness. When you hold back, you rob the world of something only you can give. You may not feel like the obvious choice. You may feel too ordinary. But history is full of people who looked ordinary until they stopped waiting and started walking. There is no perfect time. There is no magical moment when all fear disappears and all doors swing open There is only now. And the decision to believe that you don't need permission to start becoming everything you were created to be. This truth is both freeing and challenging. It means that no matter what you've been through, what mistakes you've made, or how many times you've fallen, you still hold the pen to write your next chapter. Life doesn't lock you into one version of yourself. You are not permanently stamped with the label of your lowest moments. The story of who you become is shaped by what you decide from this moment forward. Too many people live trapped by their past. They replay old failures like a broken record, internalizing them as proof that they're not worthy of success, love, or growth. They wear guilt and regret like heavy chains, forgetting that they're allowed to change, evolve, and rise. But your past is not a life sentence. It's a lesson. And lessons are meant to teach, not define. Yes, maybe you made poor choices. Maybe you hurt others. Maybe you gave up when you should have fought. Maybe you stayed silent when you should have spoken. But the power of life is that it moves. And as long as you're breathing, you can move too. You can choose differently. You can choose better. You can choose to forgive yourself, to learn, to rise, and to move forward with purpose. Your identity is not built on the worst thing you've ever done, nor is it limited to the best thing you've ever done. Who you are is the sum of your daily choices. Each decision is a vote for the person you're becoming. Every small step counts, even the ones that feel invisible. Progress isn't always loud. Sometimes it looks like showing up again after a long silence, choosing peace over pride, or simply refusing to give up today. The past can only control you if you keep giving it permission. And often, it's not other people holding you back. It's your own memory of who you used to be. But memories aren't mirrors. They're snapshots, not full stories. And they don't have to dictate your direction. If your past was full of pain, choose healing. If it was full of fear, choose courage. If it was full of stagnation, choose movement. What matters is not where you started, it's where you're willing to go. Some of the most inspiring individuals didn't come from privilege or perfection. They came from struggle, from broken homes, from prison cells, from addiction, from loss. But what made them stand out wasn't their past. It was the power of their choices. The choice to change, the choice to believe, the choice to try again, even when failure felt more familiar than hope. People will try to define you by your history because it's easier to label than to understand. But you don't have to accept those labels. You are not your past job title, not your old mistakes, not your failed relationships, not your missed opportunities. You are who you choose to become through the actions you take now. And every day you wake up with the opportunity to build a new identity, one choice at a time. Some days you'll stumble. You'll feel the weight of your past trying to pull you backward. That's normal. But growth doesn't mean perfection. It means movement. It means not letting yesterday's version of you make today's decisions. It means reminding yourself that even if the road is slow, you're still heading in the right direction. When you take ownership of your choices, you take back your power. You stop blaming your history and start building your destiny. And that's when transformation begins. Not when everything changes around you, but when something shifts within you. So many people misunderstand courage. They think it's about being fearless, about standing strong with no trace of doubt or hesitation. But real courage is something quieter, something more honest, It's the decision to take one more step, even when your heart is racing and your mind is full of uncertainty. It's choosing to act when everything inside you is whispering, "What if I fail?" Fear is natural. It's part of being human. Every time you consider doing something meaningful, fear will show up. It will try to protect you, to keep you safe from risk, embarrassment, disappointment. But growth doesn't happen in safety. It happens in movement. And courage is what pushes you into that movement even when you don't feel ready. Think about the people you admire, the ones who made a difference, who built something from nothing, who changed their lives or the lives of others. Do you think they never felt fear? Of course they did, but they didn't let it stop them. They didn't wait for the fear to go away before they took action. They took action, and in doing so, fear began to lose its grip. Courage means starting the business when you don't know everything yet. It means speaking up when your voice shakes. It means saying yes to the opportunity that feels too big for you. It means leaving what's familiar for what's right. It means looking failure in the face and trying anyway. You might think bravery is loud and dramatic. Sometimes it is, but often it's quiet. It's the single mother getting up each morning to keep going. It's the student who applies again after being rejected. It's the person who shows up to therapy after years of carrying silent pain. It's the small, defiant decision to keep believing when the evidence around you says you shouldn't. Fear will always have a voice, but it doesn't have to be the loudest one. The voice of courage can be soft and trembling, but it is steady. It says, "Yes, I'm scared, but I'm doing this anyway." And each time you choose to move forward with that voice, you build strength. Not just physical strength or skill, but inner strength. The kind that doesn't collapse under pressure. People often wait for courage to show up as a feeling, something they'll magically feel in their body like a burst of confidence. But courage isn't a feeling, it's a choice. It comes from your values, not your emotions. You choose to act because something matters more to you than your fear, your dream, your purpose, your family, your freedom, your growth. And every act of courage, no matter how small, plants a seed. Over time, those seeds grow. You become more confident, not because fear disappears, but because you've learned you can move with it. You stop seeing fear as a wall and start seeing it as a doorway. There will be moments when courage asks everything of you. When stepping forward means risking judgment, rejection, failure. And there will be moments when courage simply asks you to get out of bed, to face the day, to keep showing up when you'd rather quit. In both moments, your choice carries weight. It tells the world and yourself that fear does not have the final say. You won't always feel brave, but you can always choose to be brave. Not by being fearless, but by being willing. Willing to try, willing to trust, willing to grow, willing to face whatever comes. Not because you're unafraid, but because you've decided your future is worth it. One of the greatest myths people believe is that success demands perfection. They think they have to wait until they know everything, feel completely ready, or have the perfect plan before they begin. But in truth, progress is messy. It's unpolished. It's full of awkward starts, small steps, and lessons learned the hard way. Real growth doesn't come from waiting to get it all right. It comes from showing up again and again, even when things aren't perfect. Perfection is a trap. It looks noble on the surface, like a commitment to excellence, but often it's just fear in disguise. It's fear of being judged, fear of failing, fear of looking like you don't have it together. And that fear convinces people to delay action. They keep preparing, planning, adjusting, but never doing. Meanwhile, those who are willing to act imperfectly keep moving forward. They make mistakes, yes, but they learn. They adapt and they grow. You can't learn how to swim by reading about water. You have to get in, feel the current, kick your legs, and sometimes go under. That's how real progress works. You learn by doing. You improve by trying. You grow through motion, not theory. Every master was once a beginner, stumbling through their first attempts. Every expert has a history of failure behind their skill. What separates them isn't talent. It's their willingness to act before they felt completely prepared. Small, consistent actions may not seem like much in the moment, but they compound over time. One day of effort won't change your life, but 100 days of steady effort will. Success doesn't come from one giant leap. It comes from thousands of small steps taken with intention and commitment. Even when you're tired, even when you're unsure, even when progress feels invisible. Imperfect action builds momentum. Momentum builds confidence. And confidence builds results. The first step might feel shaky. The second might feel just as uncertain. But each step after that makes the next one a little easier. Soon you're not just moving, you're building something real. Something you didn't think was possible when you started. People often give up not because they failed, but because they didn't allow themselves to be bad at something long enough to get better. They expected immediate results, quick wins, and smooth paths. But progress doesn't work that way. It's slow. It's filled with obstacles. And that's what makes it meaningful. The struggle is not the opposite of progress. It's part of it. There will be days when nothing seems to be working. Days when your efforts feel invisible. Days when doubt creeps in and tells you you're wasting your time. But those are the days that matter most. Because continuing on those days builds resilience. And resilience is what sustains progress when motivation fades. Consistency beats intensity. It's not about working harder for a short burst of time, but showing up day after day with intention and patience. Some days you'll move inches. Other days you'll move miles. But what matters is that you keep moving. Perfection may impress for a moment, but consistency transforms over time. There's no such thing as the perfect time. No perfect plan, no perfect version of you. If you're waiting to feel completely ready, you'll wait forever. The only way forward is through action. Flawed, honest, courageous action. So I'm going to be fact and following that action of flawed. You're waiting to feel perfectly ready. You'll wait for, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present, committed, and willing to keep going.